Guys, let's talk about friendships. I'm just gonna lay down like this and do it like this because why not? That's hella comfortable. It's like you're just like my friend. My phone is my friend, and I'm just out here picnicking a bit, just talking, yapping. Damn, that's hella fun. So, what was I saying? Also, I wanted to see the sunset here, but I think, unfortunately, that I'm not going to see the sunset here. Either way, this is such a weird position to talk into, but like this is literally how I lay with my friends whenever we're outside and we're picnicking or we're just chatting. So I'm just gonna do that because I can go sit somewhere on a bench or a bench and a table, but that's so boring, right? And I wish the background was also better. I can turn you guys to the other side. That side is not that bad. I wish I just had a chair. If I had a low chair, I could sit here right now and just talk to you. And this is exactly how I envisioned it. Not this, but sitting in a low chair and just yapping to the camera. Anyway, I'm not gonna for a long time. That's what I always say. But I always end up yapping for a long time. So no promises. But let's talk about friendships. Everyone deals with friendships, right? And friendships is a topic that I have been talking more and more about because I just had to learn some stuff about friendships and about growth and about childhood friendships and everything like that. So the reason why I want to talk about topics is so I can talk about it now. And then later in life, I can rewatch it. And then I bet in 5 years, my view on friendships is different by then. I'm actually not quite sure about that one. Maybe not about friendships, but about other subjects. Maybe about religion, maybe about something else. We learn, we evolve every single day. We're human. So about friendships, I have been talking about friendships a lot lately. I have been thinking about friendships a lot lately. And the reason for that is because in the past few years, I had to say goodbye to some friendships. I had to decline some friendships. I had to form new friendships. And I had to repair friendships. So it's a thing that is on my mind on the daily and that I deal with on the daily. So I'm not gonna say names. I'm not going to. If they would watch this video, they probably know that it's about them. I don't even know if you guys are gonna hear me because of the helicopter. That helicopter is hella loud. Anyway, either way, right? So, as I said, I'm not going to say any names before I start talking about friendships and also other topics, right? I just want to say one thing, and that's that I have no hate towards anybody. I have no anger towards anybody. I don't wish them bad stuff. I wish them positivity. I wish them everything good in life. So anything I say, it's because I experience it that way and not because I want them to feel a type of way. I just want to share my experience a tiny bit regarding friendships and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna start from the start. So I was 4, almost 5 when I moved to the Netherlands. And obviously you do have friends when you're that young, but I was in Portugal for I think maybe 2 or 3 years of my life. I'm not quite sure of that timeline right there because no one ever really told me the exact timeline of anything. And I was too young to remember. I came to the Netherlands and I was young. I feel like I did make some friends when I was in Portugal, but I'm too young to remember. And we moved to the Netherlands, and then when you're 5, you go into primary school and then just start making friends. So at that age, it's still, I wouldn't say meaningless, but it wasn't as meaningful as it is now because you still have your mom and maybe siblings that you hang out with every single day. So, sorry guys, I really can't do it if I'm distracted like that. Either way, sorry guys. I think I'm just not used to being at a park or a public place and then having homeless people while I'm wandering around. Anyway, I'm just scared she's gonna like, run up to me and stab me in my back and I wouldn't even see it. Anyway, when you're that young, you do have friendships and it's fun to hang out with friends, but they don't have that significant meaning to your life yet. Because when you're 6, you don't need them to survive, right? That's why it's easier for kids to adapt to, for example, a new school, or when they move or whatever happens, or when their parents divorce and they have to go to another city. But I do remember I had some friends in Amsterdam, and initially I went to one primary school we have groups, so we don't have grades, but we have groups. From group 1 until group 4, I went to a primary school in Amsterdam. And then from when I was 10 or 9, so group 5 till group 8, I went to another primary school. And geographically, they weren't even that far away from each other. But when you're a kid, it is far away from each other, because I don't know how the system is here in the US, but with primary schools in the Netherlands, we tend to live very close to the primary school so the kid can walk to the primary school themselves or like, use the bike, right? So because we had to move a bit away, I had to go to another primary school. I had to make new friends. So I think I had maybe 3 really good friends from the first primary school. And it's not even that many, but I remember being in school and just getting along with everybody, basically. You didn't really have, oh, I'm not your friend, so I'm not gonna play with you. Everyone basically played with everybody. And I think from group 5 till group 8, that's where I started forming really deep connections within friendships. So I had friends and they would mean a lot to me and they would do a lot for me and I would do a lot for them, and we would hang out all the time and we would go through a lot of stuff together and talk about a lot of stuff together. And from group 5 till group 8, so I think you're around the age of 9 till maybe 11, 12, I had multiple friends, but I had one best friend. And obviously throughout the years, some friends came and they didn't come and go more, but they were more like you were a bit closer to one friend and then a bit closer to the other friend. But the majority of the time, I was the closest to one person. And I'm still friends with her nowadays, thank God. So I spent time with them, and I think friendships were for me a very crucial thing, because I remember around that time, I had a really hard time at home, and so I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to spend time at home. I would like to spend time outside, and that's what I did. I went to school. I think I went back home to drop my stuff, and most of the time I wouldn't even do that. I would go to school and then I would just go outside after, or I would go to school and then I would drop my shit and then go outside. And I think I would come home to eat and then go back outside. But honestly, I remember not even going back home and just eating at my friend's house, or just one of my friend's house, right? So I was very close with them, and I would spend days and days and hours with them. So it was just a really big thing for me, I guess, because I was depending on those friendships, because even though you're still that young, when you do not have stability in other aspects of your life, then friendships are very supportive and very meaningful in your little childhood life. So that's what happened. I had one very good friend. I was really close to her, but I was also really good friends with other people. It wasn't like, oh, I'm only friends with her, she's my best friend, I cannot be friends with other people. That would be weird, right? So that was also not the case. I would have one best friend, I would tell her everything, I would run off to her house if something would happen, if I would need help. But I would also spend time with other friends. And so regarding primary school, I'm only in contact with like one person right now, and that was my best friend from back then. But I still follow a lot of other people and other friends that I was closer with when I was younger. So it's not like I don't speak to them anymore. Once in a while we catch up, you know. It's like, how are you? The majority of them already have kids. That's crazy. That's really a crazy thought. I'm happy for them. I don't think I could handle a kid right now. You can barely handle myself sometimes. So I also think, right, guys, if I would turn you guys that way, you would have another view, which is more interesting than that view. Maybe I'll turn you guys around after 5 minutes or something. Either way, those were my friendships in primary school. After primary school, I moved to the other side of the country. So I had to go to another high school. That was my transition from primary school to high school. My mom thought it would be a great idea to move when I finished with my last year of primary school. And I think it is kind of, but I really wanted to go to high school with my best friend. And we were planning, like we are going to go to, oh my God, we're gonna go to that high school together and we're gonna do this and that. Never happened because I moved. So I went to another high school in another city, in another province. It was hella far away, 100 kilometers. And maybe 100 kilometers doesn't seem far nowadays because I have a car, I have everything. But when you're a child, that is far away. So I had to make new friends. And honestly, I think for me, it was a bit different because obviously I'm not white. And we did move to a more white city, from a colored city to a white city, because Amsterdam is very colored. Like I'm telling you, our class had maybe 30 kids and I think we had like 26 colored people in there and like 4 white people. And so Amsterdam is really, really all over the place. Everywhere is there. What am I saying? Everyone is there. Everyone is respected. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's treated the same, you know. Amsterdam is very progressive in that sense. When you go to other cities that are close to Germany, so you go to the right side of the country, right, you will see more cities that are mainly white, like majority white. Nothing wrong with that. But I just wish I didn't have to experience that, because obviously there's also more racism. There's also more people that are going to call you out on how you look, because the majority of that city is white, like you in the minority. And in Amsterdam, that was not the case because it was the majority of us, right? So I go to a hella white city and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know where to go. And I remember I went into high school and it was like really, it was a good experience, but I had like high anxiety, okay? I was in a new city. I need to know the roads. I need to know where to go. I need to know where the shops are. I need to know where the house is. I need to know where the school is. I need to know where the station is. I need to know where everything is, right? And it was just really hard adapting because I think I was 11, 12 when I had to adapt to that place. And did I even lock my car? I don't know if I locked my car, guys, but I think I can see my car from here. So that should be fine. Is it fine? I don't know. Either way, I had to make new friends, and in the first year, not even the first year, in the first week and first weeks of high school, I made one really good friend, and she was like a really good friend. But I was also friends with other people, again, you know? But she was my best friend throughout the first year, maybe the first 2 years even. We would spend summers together, like day after day after day, like back to back. Literally 6 to 8 weeks we would be together every single day. And we were really dependent on each other. We were like talking about other stuff than I would talk about with my primary school best friend, because obviously you go into another phase because now you hit puberty, right? So like you talk about other stuff and you open up about, you know, certain stuff that you never realized that was a problem. It was a really good friend. And in my second year, I met another friend, and that one, honestly, like I don't wish bad on her, but like, do I wish good on her? No, I'm kidding. That friend, she kind of like fucked up my trust. Turns out she's a snake. She was lying. Even though, okay, so what happened was, I'm not gonna talk into details about this. I was friends with her for a very long time, and oh, that's a bug. That scared me. That fell out of the tree, guys. Didn't like that. Okay. Basically, she's a snake. She lied. I defended her. She lied more. She lied more, 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 more. I hope you see this. No, I don't. Honestly, I hope she doesn't like even watch me. I don't really care. Honestly, she fucked up the friendship. I said, no more contact with you. You can figure out everything. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And yes, I mean, I was like really zero tolerance, and I was like, no, I won't forgive you. But the thing is, obviously, we went through ups and downs, and we already had, fights and stuff like that. And I would always forgive her because obviously we make mistakes. But that, I don't think that was a mistake. I think that's personality. That you have like the nerve and the audacity to lie so hard in someone's face after years and years of like really good friendship. And I just wasn't having it. It was also the time where I felt like I needed to move on from certain people. And I was surrounded by a lot of people that are very narrow-minded, that are very boring, very basic, didn't have their own opinion. I was surrounded by a lot of those people around that time. And so I ended that friendship years and years ago, right? I think I was maybe 17 or 18 when I ended that friendship. I had that friendship with her from when I was like 12 or 13, so that's also crazy. That was that friendship. And then about the other friendship I had from the first year of high school, that's a pretty long story. But I just want to say I have friendships from back then, and I wish everyone the best. I want them to do what makes them happy and for them to live their lives and be healthy and, achieve everything they want to achieve. And then at the same time, I feel like it's okay to leave people where they are when you feel like you are going into a different direction. I try not to use outgrow people because that sounds very like I'm talking down on them. And that's not what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to say when you grow older, you get different priorities, right? And you have different paths that you follow. So some of us kids when we are very young, some of us go into university, some go study, some go abroad, some go travel, some still likes to be at home or take care of their parents. Like everyone has their own little life and their own little journey, and I feel like it's okay to leave people where they are if you feel like you're going into a different path and a different direction. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because when you're a kid, it's very easy to be friends. When you're a kid, you're not developed yet. You're not an adult. You don't have your own very special interests. So you're just a kid, and then you're with another kid and you're just being a kid. So you just hang out, you just chill, you just do the most basic generic stuff, you go buy candy, you go eat the candy, you go see a movie. And when you age, that's when you get your own interests. So I had no interest in being with people that talk shit about other people. I had no interest in hanging around with people that couldn't have deep conversations with me. I wasn't interested in hanging out with people that didn't have their own opinion. I wasn't interested in people that would complain and do shit about their lives. So throughout the years, I cut off a lot of friendships because of that, right? And I still have contact with some of the people that I know from primary school, but only one that's really still like in close contact with me, and the other one's not really that much, which is also fine because I'm not seeking to fake stuff or to like push stuff to, force it if it's not there. Anyway, after high school, I went into something that's called MBO. And it's all because obviously in primary school I wasn't having a good time at home. In high school I wasn't having a good time at home. So I was put into that level of education. So I had to go through MBO. Throughout MBO, I met a lot of people. The class was, I think, majority girls. And maybe, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was majority girls, but it wasn't like really bad. I think it was like maybe 70-30 or maybe 65-35, something like that. but we were basically all friends too. Okay, that's a lie. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. I lied. We were not all friends. Kind of had like subgroups within the class. So you would be okay with everybody and talk to them and say hello or something, or like how is your day, but you wouldn't really hang out with them or like talk about deeper topics with them. And what is everyone going there? Like, what is there? Throughout that time, I met a group of girls and it was all fun and games, right? But I feel like I was turning into like just a brainless generic person because I was hanging out with them, because they weren't doing anything productive. They were just like going to parties, drinking. They wanted to be liked by everybody. They like to talk shit about everybody. And I hear you think and say, oh, you are talking shit about them too. No, I'm not. They can see this, you know? And they know, respectfully, they know. The people that I had to say shit about, I told them in their face, made sure that they knew before I would talk about them to other people. Either way, those people were not my people, but I didn't have other people around me. So those were considered my friends, and I would hang out with them after school and all that. There's one girl from the whole party that I still have contact with. I do see all the other girls still on social media and stuff. I see their lives, I see what's up. But there's only one girl that I still respect, like to this day. And she was like the realest person I met during that time. And she always was very honest. She had an opinion. She had a vision. She worked for stuff. She always did the right thing. She always just did the right thing even though other people wouldn't agree with her. So that's the thing that I respected her the most for, because everyone else would go, no, that's not right. And then she would be like, yeah, that's right. I would be like that too. So me and her, we did click a lot. I still respect that person, but I still do have contact with that person too. After that school, I went into something and it's called HBO, so HBO. And that's like a little step you need before you can go into university in the Netherlands, if you want to go to university. And so I used that stepping stone to go into university. So in the first year of that educational, whatever you call it, I met my bestie, and she is still considered my best friend, I think, up until this day. Because I think I've been friends with her for, I think since I was like 19, maybe 8 years right now. We spent 7 years studying together, which is hella crazy, right? And I think she saw the most change. No, that's not right. I think that's the primary school one. But me and the primary school one were not friends. We're not best friends for a long time because we lost contact. We kind of lost contact. Like, she was doing her stuff during the whole high school. I was doing my stuff. I didn't really have contact with her until like she got, I think, married and got kids, and then we got like back into being friends and talking, and then we got like close again. The one that I met at like before university, the one I do speak on not on daily, but like I do speak to her often. I do tell her everything still. Like, she's still considered my best friend. She saw me grow. She saw me grow from being, confused, being like a bit angry, being a bit like aggressive, being very outspoken, to a more calm person. I am a more calm person right now. She just experienced the whole growth throughout the 8 years, which is crazy. So I really respect her for that. And I did have other friends when I was friends with her, but then again, I only had one best friend. And I feel like that's the thing that keeps coming back. Me having one best friend that I'm very close with, and still having other friends around, but not as that best friend, if you understand what I'm saying. And in the meantime, obviously, I also have my sister. So I think having my sister as my best friend, because I think my sister and I, obviously we grew up together and we were children. And when we were children, we would fight and we would, fight about shit. We would fight about shit. When I say shit, like actual shit. So I think because I always had her, I never felt like I didn't have any friends. Because even if I wouldn't have someone else as a friend, I would still have her, because I would tell her everything and I would like call her. She's literally my best friend still, and I think we will be like forever best friends until the day I die and beyond, respectfully. Anyway, so the thing is, I just realized I just talked about like my friendships that I had and created and stuff, instead of actually talking about the topic friendships like I wanted to do. Let's do that real quick. Friendships are something you need throughout your life, right? And it's very nice to have friendships that you've had for a very long time, but never use that as an excuse to keep hanging out with them or to keep being friends with them, even though they already walked another path than you are doing, right? So I always said outgrew, like outgrowing, because that is the word I have been using for a long time, but it's not the word that I want to keep using, if you know what I mean. It's just that I feel like when I went to university, I left a lot of people behind. And that's because they started to work, or they started to like, I feel stagnate maybe in like certain areas of their lives. They never really left the city that we came from. And it's a very small city, They never left that city. They never went traveling. They're a bit like, they don't really know what's going on in the world. And I think that's what I was trying to say. There are 2 dogs over here, and I don't know whose dogs those are. And he's coming closer to me. And I really don't hope he's gonna like attack me and bite me. He has a leash on himself, but that looks like a homeless leash, honestly. I don't know whose that dog is. He's just standing over here. Oh, he's going away right now. I really don't know whose dog that is. I saw another one too. Is that your dog?
No.
Oh, okay. There's another one somewhere. I don't know where that one went. Anyway, I just asked the homeless person if that was his dog, but that leash looks like a homeless leash. It doesn't look like a normal one. I wish I had food for them, but I don't. Anyway, this just couldn't be a peaceful vlog, huh? I'm just saying I let go of a lot of friendships because they didn't make me better anymore. That's kind of my criteria right now. If the other person in the friendship does not make me a better person, if the friendship does not make me want to live, if the friendship does not make me feel loved and appreciated, then I don't want it. I just don't. And the reason why I had to end a friendship literally 1 or 2 months ago is because I was friends with her and it was for a very long time, right? And she kind of walked her own path and I walked mine. And those were 2 very different paths, like very different. And I noticed that the friendship was kind of coming to an end, but it would still be held onto a string of her saying like, hey, do you want to come to the birthday party of my child? And I just noticed that she never really texted me asking me how I'm doing. And even though I had like major health problems at some point, I had like the worst pneumonia. I was in a hospital and she never really asked me, like, how are you doing? Like, what's up? She only asked me obviously when I posted that picture online. And then afterwards, she didn't really ask me how I was doing after. And obviously, like, I don't blame her because she has 2 kids. But then again, the problem was not that she would never ask me. The problem was when she needed something, she made sure she made time to text me. And she made sure to answer me immediately when it was about something that she needed or she wanted. So I noticed that behavior. And I'm not going to be your therapist. I'm not going to be your mother. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, that's not what you should do in a friendship. That's something I don't appreciate in a friendship. So if you can only find me when you need me, then miss me, That's what I've been thinking. So that's what I've been doing. So I no longer speak to her, and obviously I feel very light and I feel very peaceful because I know that the people that are around me and that I'm surrounded with do care about me, and they do check up on me, and they do, make time for me when I need it or ask it. And it's just like I can't stand it when instead of them just admitting they haven't been a good friend, they go, yeah, but I'm busy because I got 2 kids. Yeah, okay, but understand, I respect that. But you are not busy because you got 2 kids. You are busy when you want to be busy. When you want to be busy, right? Because when it's something you want or you need, all of a sudden you're not busy. All of a sudden you can text me immediately back. But when I ask you something else, I wait for an answer for weeks, and sometimes I never get an answer. And it's just how how the relationship was neglected. I feel like it just didn't serve me anymore. And I just I really refuse to be friends with somebody that does not have that loyalty and honesty in a friendship from the start. And I hope this is a lesson for her. I hope she treats her other friend better now that, she answers. Also, another thing that I couldn't stand within the relationship and that made me think about, maybe we grew differently or something, is that she is very big about posting of her happy life and stuff like that. And then when I did visit her, I did hear like a lot of shit talking about her other best friend. So she would call that person her best friend, but then she would talk shit about her. And she would like say really bad things, and the next day she would post a picture with like, oh, you're my best friend online. And I just couldn't live that fake life anymore. And I'm just not about that life. People that follow me on my Instagram and stuff like that on my socials know I'm really honest, and I try to be like as raw as possible on there, because who cares, right? I'm not gonna fake a happy life on there if I'm not having a happy life. It's just like, who are you lying to? Not me, So I didn't want to be surrounded by that anymore. I want people that are honest. I want people that are grown enough, adult enough, reflect on their own behavior, that can reflect on their own responsibilities, and to have like good morals. I feel like if you need to fake a whole life online and you have a really bad, miserable life in real life, you have no morals, because then you're just trying to prove people something, and that's not right, because you gotta lie to do that, and that's not right. Lying is not right. Lying is not right. Period. Dot. Honestly, I have no other words about it. Either way, so I had to end that friendship, which I do not regret, because I've been thinking about that friendship for a very long time, and I was thinking about, how can I end this? And then she did that same thing again that I really didn't like, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I think this is the last straw. This is the last thing that I needed to confirm that we really cannot be friends anymore. And yeah, that's what happened lately. Also, something else happened regarding friendship, and that's the last thing I'm going to talk about, because I've been talking for a very long time. So I met another girl, and she was very nice. We both had things in common. Like, she had a car crash, I had a motorcycle crash. She did the same like master studies as I was doing in the same university. So it was like, oh my god, like we can be friends, yeah. But literally I met her, and then like maybe the second time I met her, she goes, yeah, like maybe we can go to some place together, because I was traveling and she was traveling. And she goes, maybe we can go travel to like Brazil together or something. And I'm like, I really don't know you like good enough for me to travel with you, because honestly I really need to know you well before I want to travel with you, because I'm not trying to ruin my whole travel experience by being with somebody that I really didn't really know enough, and then me getting annoyed by that person because I didn't know that. So she was asking me like, hey, maybe we can go on holidays together. Maybe we can do this together. Maybe we can do that together. And like, she was very high maintenance, I think. And I think at that time in my life, I just didn't have enough room or energy to have a high maintenance friend or friendship. And I think that's okay. You don't have to always keep all your balls up and try to, please everybody and say, okay, you can be my friend, you can be my friend, you can be my friend. No, if I don't have time or space for you to be that friend for me, I cannot be a good friend for you. So then I don't want it, because if I have friendships, I want to have good friendships, and I want to be a good friend. And that's like one of my life goals, right? She was asking me a bunch of stuff and like, oh yeah, I want to travel here and there with you. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be in Spain from this day till this day. if you have time, you can come visit. Like, I'm not traveling with you. I'm not like going there with you, you know, like we can stay together at some place, but it only if it's like a couple of days. And we did that, and I just found out she was not my person. She was not the person I can be friends with. And yes, we had some really good conversations, but then again, I felt like I was carrying the conversations. She was just asking a lot and I couldn't give a lot, and that was the whole point, guys. That was literally the whole point. I didn't have time or space to have that friendship, and we did that trip, and then after, she kept asking me like, hey, do you want to do something, blah blah blah. And I guess I just didn't feel like it, but I also didn't feel like we were already really good friends that I had to explain to her like, hey, we can't be friends anymore, or I don't really have enough time. So I didn't really like text her for maybe 6 months. And all of a sudden I get a text like, hey, you never text me, and you never do this, and you never do that. And I'm like, well, you know, in the first instance, I didn't even have time or energy to be your friend. Like, I could hang out with you once in a blue moon, but you couldn't be my bestie, you know. I already have a bestie, like, I'm occupied. And she just was mad, and she was like, yeah, you never asked me about this, and you knew it was important for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is the reason why I can't have multiple good friends. Because I can't. Also, when you're my friend, you need to kind of know how I operate. Because sometimes we just don't talk a lot. Even with me and my sister, honestly, my sister is my whole wide world. My sister is everything to me. She is the apple to my pie. She's everything to me. My sister is the most important human being on this earth. And believe me when I say it, right? And I don't even talk to her that often. I talk to her maybe once in a few days, maybe once in a few weeks. And we're still like this. That's the connection I want. I also have that with my other best friend. I also have that with my other best friend. You know? So I am not a high maintenance, I'll text you every single day friend, because I'm not your boyfriend. Respectfully, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm not going to text you every single day. I'm not going to check up on you every single day. You know why? Because I kind of expect you to hit me up when you do need me. I expect you to say, hey, what's up? I'm in a pickle right now. Hey, I could use your advice. Hey, I'm going through this. Hey, can you help me out with that? Because I will be there for you. But you can't not say anything to me either and go, you didn't check up on me. Because, girl, I don't even check up on my sister a lot of times. It's because we know we're there when we need something. Whenever I do miss her, I say, hey, I miss you, sister. I love you. I made sure she knows that. But literally, I just can't handle that. I can't handle people that go, you didn't check up on me. Okay, bitch, but you didn't check up on me either. You didn't ask me nothing either. And then they're like, yeah, I just thought, you know, I'm just gonna not say anything to you and see if you go after me. I'm not a guy. You're not bait. I'm not a fish. Like, what are you trying to do, you know? Friendship is something that should be equal. This is not a relationship. This is a friendship. So I had to cut it off real quick. So I was just very honest with her. I said, hey, listen. I said it very nicely. Trust me, because I can say things very honest and I'll hurt people, and I usually don't give a fuck. But I was like, you know what, she's a bit sensitive, I'll just be nice to her. So I go, you know what, girl, I think you have a different definition of friendship. I think we are very different. I think I cannot provide or give you the friendship that you need, vice versa, and I think we should just leave it as it is. And she goes, you know what? That's fine by me. You never checked up on me. That's fine by me. And I was like, damn, you're just like mad for nothing. And then she was somewhere at one of my hobbies that I went to. She was there. And I had to see her after that. And she just ignored me, even though I said like hi to her. Because just because you're not my friend doesn't mean you're my enemy. Like, do you understand? Just because I don't want you to eat at my table doesn't mean I don't want you eating. You can eat at another table respectfully. But that's what people don't understand, because once that you say, hey, maybe we shouldn't be friends anymore, or maybe this friendship is a bit too much, they go, okay, let's be enemies. No, I don't want to be enemies. I don't have time to have enemies. I don't have enemies. Like, don't put that on me. Don't put that on my name. And it just never can be peaceful for that reason. I have a lot more to say about friendships though, but I guess I just wasted this time on talking about the friendships I made during my life. And yeah, this clip is way too long already, so I'm gonna stop right here, guys. I'm also like distracted by everything and anything. So yeah, peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vlog. Alright, peace out, guys. Bye.